A new and alarming study out about America's young people. Researchers at San Diego State University finding that 5 times as many students say they are dealing with serious mental health issues like anxiety as people did of the same age during the Great Depression. What's behind the uptick and what can we do about it? For some answers, let's talk with psychiatrist and Fox News contributor Dr. Keith Ablow. He joins us now. This is the results of a study, results from a study that has been taken, I guess, or has been given to young people since 1938. Same questions asked back then are asked now, and the results are pretty alarming, right, Doctor?
Absolutely. John, this is a study, the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, that's very lengthy, that has very high accuracy. And what we're finding is that as compared to 1938, and this is a study that looked at 77,000, more than 77,500 students, 5 times the rate of serious psychiatric symptoms, psychological symptoms in these individuals, and in some categories, 600%, 6 times more people with major depressive symptoms or with the opposite, those highs called manic symptoms.
Now, you know, we all hear our parents talk about how rough it was during the Great Depression or whatever. Everybody thinks that their generation has it worse than the generation of today. But I'm thinking, you know, if anybody had it rough, it was my parents' generation, the Great Depression years. How come kids today are in such worse shape mentally?
Well, you know, John, I think that the roughness, the difficulty of those times was reality-based. People were struggling. They had to band together as families. They saw the incredible lengths to which their parents had to go to get work. They were hungry. They dealt with each other as fairly as they could. They got through these circumstances. Now, I fear, this is a generation that we're developing that is universally almost drugged by one thing or another. We're either giving them trophies that falsely elevate their self-esteem from age 2 to 4. Whether you win or lose, you get something that tells you you're a winner. Well, this causes some grandiosity. It can inflate your narcissism. Beyond that, the technologies available now are all in one direction. They take you away from yourself, away from your core feelings. You know, you can pretend you're a tennis star on Wii. You can create your own little mini reality series on YouTube. But guess what? It takes you away from your core emotions and feelings. That's what we have to get back to.
So what's the long-term cost for society if we've got, I mean, the numbers here are pretty alarming. An uptick of what, about 5–6%, or 6 times, I should say, in the number of young people reporting depression?
If this is reliable, we're talking about young people emerging into adulthood at 600% the number of people who used to require treatment of depression. This isn't just because we're better at finding them. This is because we looked in both cases with that test. This is because they're literally suffering more. It has implications for costs in terms of work productivity that's lost, in terms of broken marriages, in terms of fueling substance abuse, because we know that people try to distract themselves and self-medicate when they feel depressed. So this is an epidemic, John. This is as big as any epidemic has been. And we have to find out, how do we find these people? How do we restore care to those individuals who are part of this epidemic? Because also, during this time, from 1938 to 2007, when these results were gathered, we systematically dismantled psychiatry. We said, you guys go prescribe medication. We're not going to pay you any more through the health insurers to talk to people. We've got to get back to that. We have to get back to caring and empathy, especially because new studies show the antidepressants may not even work.
And how much of this is partly a function of the media? I mean, everywhere these people, you know, young people look, beautiful folks on MTV and VH1 and so forth. Aspirations, they're a big part of this, aren't they?
They really are, because one thing these students have reported to their clinicians and through the test is that more than ever, they don't think very much of themselves if they can't be rich and beautiful. And so, yes, media too, because that's another drug. You know, we're so focused on celebrities and their lives that you can get a piece down the road without figuring out, wait a second, I haven't attended to my own life story, and I feel pretty anxious about certain things I've never looked at. That's the key here. So, yes, I think the media also has to do some self-reflection. You know, 3D TVs are coming, but that's not going to let you see into yourself any better. That just lets you see the drama on screen better.
Yeah, well, money can't buy happiness. That's worth reminding people, right?
I have lots of very wealthy people who come to see me.
Dr. Keith Ablow, good point. Thanks for being with us.